Harold and the Purple Crayon can be mistaken for a really great book that does a fantastic job of urging children to use their imaginations, but not more than that. Harold and the Purple Crayon does offer more, however. Much more. From the first squiggle on that ever-recognizable dark crimson cover to the last empty page, this book digs deep. Like all heroes, Harold has many ups and downs on his journey, and many challenges that he faces head-on. In fact, the plot of his story is formed by a series of crises. Harold plummeting scarily from an image he's drawn, rising from those descents by drawing away to get back up, or just pushing forward by drawing a future. So, at its outer crust, Harold and the Purple Crayon is about personal fortitude, those attributes we typically call grit and resilience. But it's also about something more layered than just bouncing back or bootstrapping it. We can recover and move forward from challenges and crises by complying with the demands of others, conforming to what everyone else is doing, and thoughtlessly following the leader. Or we can get up in a way that is self-possessed and assures that the person we were before the difficult event is still who we are after the worst of it is over. Johnson's book is about this latter form of fortitude, a refined style of conation we call dignity. But it's also deeper than that. At the mantle of this book is a lesson about how an innovative approach to challenges is an important avenue to building a dignified life. Harold's beautiful purple renderings are not art for art's sake. He draws them to sustain who he is. Yet Harold is more than a psychological MacGyver, combining found materials in original ways to stay afloat. He's being original because, for him, originality is what it's all about. Harold holds as sacred the unique intuitions, impulses, values, and tastes that render him Harold. Thus, the thing he uses to protect his dignity and the thing he's protecting that makes him dignified are the same: his one-of-a-kind soul. Harold and the Purple Crayon is a celebration of what I call sacred originality. This idea that each of our unique inner lives is worth nurturing and protecting is really the core message in Johnson's book. Well, almost. Harold and the Purple Crayon is also about how hard it is to maintain our sacredness as original beings, the perseverance and the courage it takes to do so, often in the face of powerful forces that want us to do just the opposite. Harold repeatedly falls out of artful living into struggles with an inanimate and hollow existence, one in which he either sacrifices his originality to conform or experiences moments of isolation and dislocation. His story is thus as much about what it takes to feel alive in our humanity as it is about the terror of what happens when we don't, and how we recover from periods of emptiness in ways that resist the call to just follow along. This makes Harold and the Purple Crayon a very modern book, and one with particularly American undertones. It reflects a shifting in the American character, described by David Reisman and his colleagues in their book, The Lonely Crowd, written just 5 years before Harold's birthday. Considered one of the great works of American sociology, The Lonely Crowd is a sort of early riff on a theme that would repeat itself throughout the 1950s, one that reverberates through Johnson's book. Reisman and others were concerned with where we place the psychological GPS that directs the course of our lives. For them, Americans had moved from following a tradition-directed map, charted by elders, to inner-directedness, in which they hold the purple crayon of their destiny in their hands, to an emerging mode that is outer-directed, piloting their decisions by homing in on what their neighbors were doing. For Reisman and his colleagues, Americans were losing their social freedom and their individual autonomy in seeking to become like each other. I think the author of Harold and the Purple Crayon